Hello, Cruising World. Mick the Suit Guy with you. It's Monday. Monday is Tips Day, and I got loads. Douglas sent me. How many did Douglas send me? 11. 11 tips from Douglas. I got some from others as well, which I'm going to get to. But whenever you do that many tips, you get 3 weeks of the hit parade. Well, maybe they look fairly short. As always, I've not read them yet, but they're fairly short. So we'll see how we go. I don't want to make these too long, but I'll try and spread this over 3 weeks. And that means you get your own suit. So Douglas, I picked this one out for you. Hope you enjoy it. You're going to get this every week. Nothing to do with the fact that I'm going to record them one after the other and I'm too lazy to change my suit. Anyway, Douglas. Tips. Here we go. And again, as I have to preface it, I've not read them yet. We're going to read them and react as we go. Good luck, Douglas. A lot to get through. Not sure if I can provide any tips you haven't already done, but here are a few that I had. I always say this, if we repeat them, we repeat them. Nobody remembers, nobody watches all these. And if we do repeat them, they're just refreshers. That's what I rather call it, refreshing tips. And I'll tip, and we'll talk about them in a different way. How's that? Number 1. If you book the Steakhouse or Rudy's Sea Grill on an XL class ship, for the first night, you can receive a complimentary bottle of house, red or white wine, or get a 50% discount of any bottle that sells for up to $200. Now, we have done that tip before, but we've never thrown in the $200 line, and I did not know that. So kudos to you, Douglas, because I didn't know there was a $200 limit on the special bottle of wine. I didn't even know they had bottles of wine for $200. They don't have cans of Red Stripe for that much. I do know that. But yeah, and I don't know if they still do this, but I always like to add, I have seen it that they've extended this to the first 2 nights of the cruise on occasion. So it might be worth checking when you get on board. They may have stopped it, but it might be worth checking when you get on board if the same applies to night 2. But yes, you go there, you can, and it's only, but also it's very important to note, this is typically 1 per table, not 1 per couple. So if you go with friends and there's 4, 6 or whatever of you at the table, you're typically only going to get it once, which seems a bit weird to me, because if you're sitting in a table of 2, you're all going to get 1. Table of 4 only gets 1. We've gone with a table of 8 and only got 1 before. We've gone with a table of 8 and they were nice and did give us 2. But just bear that in mind when you do it also. I would say what you should do is you should be the one that makes the order online. Because and I've done this on a previous video, it's a good little tip to add to this. If you want to share your table with friends, when you book it online on carnival.com under your booking number for a specialty restaurant, you can book for yourselves, but then now there's an area underneath where you can add extra people. You don't have to put their names down. So you could book Mick and Julie, and then underneath we can add 4 adults. So now we can pay for 6 people at the same time, which means the system is going to show that all 6 should be at the same table. I would say the person that makes the booking should be the one that gets the wine. Just my 2 cents. But bear in mind you can do that. It's a good idea if you have a lot of onboard credit, you could use it to pay for other people's dinners and they can give you cash. I've never done that. Number 2, if you plan on playing more than a few $100s in the casino, then make a point of speaking to a casino host the first day and checking with them every few days, as this will increase your chances of being given some complimentary items, such as free drinks while playing the casino, free specialty dining, and even free shore excursions. I don't gamble, I cannot speak to that. I will say, I always thought with the drinks, you had to hit 1,500 points. This is what I hear. So I don't know if they can just give you free drinks, Douglas. I'm not doubting you at all. But I know that they can on occasion give out the free dining. I've never heard of the shore excursions, but I don't gamble. Who am I to say? There was we were on, what ship was it? I forget the ship we were on. It doesn't matter. But there was a big, in elite cruise, I think it was, maybe a Premier or Elite, and they gave everybody a free meal in one of the specialty restaurants, either the Italian, I think it was a Radiance, either the Italian or the steakhouse or whatever. So we could never get reservations ourselves. It all went to the casino players. So yes, I know they do that. But yes, I can't speak to that, Douglas, because I don't gamble much. We take out $25 free play, and sometimes we'll throw a little bit extra. We like to play Huff and Puff. That's our favorite new machine. Because I watch this bloke, Vegas Matt. Don't watch it because you'll get addicted in 2 seconds. It's actually quite entertaining. Every day he puts a video out, him and his son, EJ, I think his name is. And they have a YouTube channel, every sort of channel you can think of. But they bet big. So you're fascinated watching them betting like 25, 50, 100, and more than that per spin on a slot machine. I do have a theory, though. I reckon, because I heard an interview he did one time, and he was saying about how for one of the videos they did, it got so many views, they got paid 20 grand. Let's do the math on that. So if he loses 10 grand, he's still making 10 grand. If that's the case. I don't want to be one of those people that speculates like that. Just adding up clues, whatever. Yeah, so yeah, check on that if you want to. I do not know how that works. And if you disagree or you have different opinions on that, put it in the comments. Not that you should ever disagree with Douglas. Don't disagree with Douglas. That's my advice. I wouldn't. Number 3, if you are interested in doing the Behind the Fun tour, then go directly to the Shore Excursion desk once you get on board, as this can sell out very quickly, and it is only done on the last sea day, and it is the only way I know of to be able to see the bridge of the ships and the many other backstage areas. Be aware that the rate on this tour is now $150 per person on the XL class ships. I will add a caveat to that, and everything that Douglas said is 100% true for now, because currently on the horizon, they're experimenting booking that in advance. So if you're cruising on the horizon, you can now go to the Shore Excursions, type in Miami like the first day if you want to filter it down, and you should see the Behind This Fun tour on sale. And if it works out, which I'm sure it will, there is talk that they will expand that to the entire fleet. So yes, Douglas, 100% correct right now, apart from the horizon. Do it as soon as you get on board. But keep an eye on it, because I think pretty soon you're going to see that expanded to be able to be booked in advance on carnival.com under your booking, under Shore Excursions, on the departure port. I said Miami just in case, because Horizon's out of Miami. So whatever your departure port is, that's where you would find it. I will say we did it on the Magic, and I'm very glad we did it, but I wouldn't do it again. And why do I say that? Well, because you've seen it. You know, I guess the XL class might be a little bit of a different tour because everything is so different on that ship. So yeah, it might possibly be. I don't know. But $150 per person is quite expensive. I think you get a hat. And yes, you get to go up on the bridge and take a picture with the captain, or we did at least, and stuff like that. I tell this story all the time. When we were on, it was when they took Stella away. And, you know, I'm on Red Stripe now, if you watch these videos. Well, I've progressed through different drinks. It was always Stella. One time on the Breeze, 3 weeks, back to back to back, 21 days. I had 15 Stellas every day for 21 days. I've still got the bottle somewhere with 300 written on it. I'll dig it up. I had all the bartenders sign it when I got my 300th. It was a struggle at the end, but I made it because I'm English and I don't want to let anybody down. But we went from Stella to Presidente, and then they stopped doing Presidente, so now I'm on Red Stripe. I've no doubt they'll soon stop doing Red Stripe just to be awkward, and then I'll move on to something else. But so I've not always been that way. But anyway, the story is they stopped selling the Stella, and we were on back-to-back. Week 1, yes. Week 2, no more Stella. But they had some in the lobby bar behind the bar. Apologies if you've heard this story before, because I've told it before. And I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden, it was like day 2 of week 2. They said they would keep them there for me. And then I see somebody come and take them all away. I'm like, what can you do? Moving on. So we do the behind the scenes tour, and we go down, and there's a pallet with probably 60 to 70 cases of Stella on it. There's a lot of Stella. And I'm like, whoa, what's going on here? And they said 2 words, crew bar. In those days, it was only $1 for the crew to have a beer, and that was the number 1 beer they sold in the crew bar. So that was okay with me. That was okay with me. But you get to see the crew area and stuff. So it's a very good tour. But I think most people I've talked to that did it enjoyed it, but wouldn't do it again. It was a one-time thing. Because a repeat, is it worth the money? Because it's quite expensive. Yeah. All right. So we're going to throw one more out of Douglas this week, because we're going to do this over 3 weeks. Number 4, and then we'll call it a wrap for this week, and then we'll go on to some more. Always prepay your gratuities, and then when we get excellent service, and you will, in brackets, you should have put an exclamation mark after that, Douglas. Missed on the exclamation mark. You can choose. You can choose. You can choose. I'm going to correct you, Douglas. I'm going to correct you. You can choose to give any additional tip to the hard-working staff. Yeah, I mean, I'm always the middle. Well, what's the word I'm looking for? The devil's advocate. I would never say always prepay your gratuities. I would say I would recommend you prepay your gratuities. We always do. And then what else Douglas says follows on progressively. If you do pay them on board, you can still pay extra tips in cash at the end. You know? But I think it's always a good idea to prepay them in advance. It's one less thing to worry about when you're on board, and it does, hopefully free up a little bit to tip them some extra for the hard-working crew. Although I know gratuities is a very touchy subject, especially on some of the Facebook pages where, and in Australia, where Australians don't know what the word tip means. We were actually on a cruise, on the Greenland cruise, and this one Australian lady probably spent half an hour telling me why we shouldn't tip. And I was polite, I smiled. I stopped listening to her after about 10 seconds, but my thought would simply be this. In Australia, where it's not your custom to tip, that's fine. But you're not in Australia right now, are you? You're in a country where the custom is to tip. So tip. Didn't say that, though. Wanted to, but didn't do it. Yeah, we're going on an Australia cruise next year. This is where the line comes in between, because Carnival will say that they take care of the crew by paying them extra gratuities. But, if you look at the prices of the cruises in Australia, the actual price of the cruise, and then compare it to a cruise over here, it's certainly not more expensive. If anything, it's a bit cheaper for the average cruise, and they're going on Journeys cruises all the time. It's definitely cheaper than a Journeys cruise. So I don't know how much gratuities the crew are getting. I know for sure we will be tipping very well when we go out there, so we won't be the Australian types. Right, Mal? My Australian friend. Yes. So yeah, couldn't agree more on the, apart from the word always, because I never like to tell you you have to do something. I like to say it's optional, but I would recommend you do. Not my place to tell you what you should and shouldn't do. It's my place to give my recommendations, and if they work for you, brilliant. And if they don't, it's like I always say, it's a matter of opinion, and it's not your fault. Yours is the wrong one. Whatever. Anyways, all right. So there you go. 4 tips from Douglas this week. I'll give you 4 more next week. I think he did a total of 11, and then we'll give you 3 the week after that. And then I'll probably add one of mine on because I got some, or I got some extras at the back. We'll put them in. Subscribe to this lovely channel if you would like to. Hit that little notification bell and you will get emails when these new videos come out. I try and do 3 a week. This on a Monday, on a Thursday, I put out a cabin video. And I was looking, I've got enough cabins to go every Thursday through next November. Some people say, well, you should put more out now, but then I'd run out of videos to put out. It's a double-edged sword, really, isn't it? As much as I'd love to put them all out today, I got to be a little bit patient. So they're coming out. And then Saturday, I do a miscellaneous video, like a port visit or something like that. Anyways, So there you go. Send me your tips. Send me your cruising traditions as well, please.
Any
and
questions?
I will read yours
Email
out.
me anytime.
As nicely as I read
cruisingsuitguy
Douglas's.
@gmail.com.
And with that,
I promise I'll reply as soon
I
as
will
possible.
see you later, Cruising World.
Want to book a cruise or any type of travel? We are travel agents. Check out our site, elitetravelconnection.com, or email me, Mick, at elitetravelconnection.com. We are here for you. Finally, subscribe, please. Pretty please. You know you want to. Go on. I won't beg you. Okay, I'm begging. Please. Subscribe. Thank you.